If you could give your team one do-over game from the last 20 years, which one would it be? Now, where did this come from? Were you just thinking about games and?
No, this is actually from the college football subreddit, where you know, obviously college football is a place where a single game can change the entirety of the course of a school's year, or maybe even trajectory under a project for a head coach. So that was an interesting conversation. I was like, let's expand this out. I wonder how many different places you can go with this. And of course, for local professional sports, particularly in the Big Four, I know there's a few games in particular that definitely stand out as ones that were ones that you'd like to change. But I also wonder if, when you're thinking about this, that you don't simply think about it from ones that felt bad but maybe ones that could have been pivotal in a big way. Like, what's the biggest return on investment on this single game that you do over? So yeah.
Okay.
Because I know there's one that you want to go to. And I also wonder if you feel that way if it's like the entire game is a do-over. Not necessarily the game plays out just a little different, that the entire game gets played again and only God knows where it goes from there,
Yeah. You're also weighing in on Twitch as well, twitch.tv/DallasFanCam from Swaggy Booties, one of the Cowboys 49ers playoffs games over the past 2 years needs a do-over. Question is, which one are you picking? Are you picking this most recent one?
I would imagine this most recent one, because your team felt like a better team. Right,
this year.
Yes, it felt like you probably had a better shot of going deep. However, if you're going to pick a Cowboys game, there seems to be singularly one, especially for you, KG, because I think you also have a take that filters in with this nicely.
Yeah, the one. Yeah, there it is, 469. Yeah,
and multiple people have brought this up.
Yeah, the Dez caught it game,
2014 divisional round game.
Because I am firmly of the belief.
Here it is.
If the Cowboys win that game, they go the next weekend to Seattle, where they had already beaten Seattle on the road earlier that season, and they go on to beat Seattle to go on to the Super Bowl that year. I am thoroughly convinced that 2014 team was going to the Super Bowl if the Cowboys win that game. You cannot convince me otherwise that Cowboys team was not Super Bowl bound. Dez Bryant, leading touchdown reception leader in the NFL that year. Tony Romo was a top 5 MVP candidate that year, balled out in 2014. Thoroughly convinced. Some people will come in with the 07 game. Obviously, the whole Patrick Creighton, the Giants, all of that.
Yeah. Few folks bringing up the Seattle game.
The Seattle game.
The mishandled hold.
Yeah, the mishandled game against Seattle. Of course, that will always live in infamy.
But I think you're right also, and especially if you believe like KG does, that the Super Bowl was a shoo-in in that NFC Championship game.
I'm not saying it was shoo-in. I'm saying I had a lot of confidence that Dallas was going to be able to go back there and beat Seattle
that's what I said.
On the road.
That's what I said. Is that not what I said? Did I say something different?
You said a shoe-in.
Yeah. That's basically what you're saying, ain't it?
I mean, I appreciate that.
Okay.
But yeah, there it is, 817 Cowboys versus Giants playoff game, and Romo hit Creighton in stride, and he dropped it. Yeah, that's a big one.
All right, so what I will say before we move on, I typically get on y'all for saying y'all doing it to yourself. This time I did it to you. So if you want to bring your anger for all of these memories,
why are you bringing up old
up,
stuff? This is old stuff, like, bad memories type of thing.
This time I will take the responsibility for that. Speaking of bringing up bad memories, everybody taking this to 2011 for the Rangers.
Of course they are.
Because not only, like, the tough thing about making this pick for that game 6, if I remember correctly, yes, is does the whole game play out in a way where the Rangers win it? If you have to play the whole game over, and it's not just because you were down to the final strike, final out, right? But I think that probably you get to the place where you win that World Series.
Strike.
Yeah, that's the thing that makes it so tough. It's not even just like, we had it. The game was over.
It was done.
Not even like we had it in the bag and we just had to finish it out. No finishing it. It was over. So yeah, I absolutely get how that one pops up, right? Like that's just is this a unique phenomenon, or is it just that we're close to it? Because it feels like the DFW got a lot of these particular games where it's just like this thing.
Well, I mean, just imagine the heartbreak. You go to back-to-back World Series, you don't win it. The Dez caught it game. 2016, Aaron Rodgers walks in the AT&T Stadium when you had the #1 seed with a rookie quarterback and rookie running back, and he victimizes you again. Then you got the Cowboys playoff game from just 2 seasons ago when, you know, they couldn't get a snap off against San Francisco. Yeah, couldn't do that.
You ended the back-to-back seasons with just nonsense plays.
Against San Francisco.
Can I interest you in this one as we bounce around DFW sports? Let's go to the Mavericks. And I think you know where I'm going.
Oh, no.
2006 Miami Heat NBA Finals, Game 3, where you have a 16-point lead in the fourth quarter with about 5 minutes to go. Sorry, 13-point lead with about 6 minutes to go. That's where I got my numbers messed up. And the Heat just battle their way back to make it 2-1. We understand in the NBA what a 3-0 series
means. It's done.
And you had 13. He had a 13-point lead there. Dwayne Wade's 42 points, 13 rebounds carry them over, and then they go on their, you know what it is. Obviously you win 3-0. You go up 3-0. The Mavericks
it's done.
They win it, right? How does that change the way, like the entire trajectory of the Mavericks? If we're that much earlier in Dirk's career where he's solidified himself as an NBA champion, the organization, I don't know what this does for recruiting, because recruiting was always an interesting question when it came to Dirk Nowitzki and the way the Mavs were. But do you have any idea if maybe that changes the perception around the league?
Well, just think
maybe
about,
they're able to build better teams throughout the course of Dirk's tenure. Do they continue to do they get another guy in there and then have a dynasty of some sorts? Like I just really ponder how that changes and shifts this, because we talk about 11 and then immediately disbanded. What happens if you're able to build a little run up there with that team earlier on in Dirk's career?
Well, just think about what happened the very next year. Dirk is the league's MVP.
Yeah. Because it's his prime, man.
It's his prime. And of course they lose to the We Believe Warriors.
Which is funny because a lot of people have brought up that series, changing one of those games, hopefully switching the way that goes. And that's really is simply because you want to avoid the embarrassment.
Yes.
But like, if you win that championship in 06, that really can change the trajectory of the franchise, I think.
And I tell people this all the time when it comes to the Mavericks and the Heat, especially that 06 series. The Mavericks lost the title they should have won in 06. They won the title I believe they weren't supposed to win
in 11.
Because them taking out the Heatles in their first year of being together with LeBron, Dwayne Wade, and Chris Bosh.
That does speak to the idea that it's really tough to just like say we're going to put these foundational pieces in and we'll figure out the rest. Like that's not the easiest thing to go ahead and do in year one.
And Dirk did what he did, of course, taking out the Lakers and the Thunder. Like, I mean, incredible run by Dirk. Who was being evoked quite a bit last night because of what Joe Pavelski was doing in Game 1 of the game against the Kraken. I love this one, though, from the 817. The Longhorns.
Yes.
Larry, you know about this
one. What year was this?
This is 2000.
09?
9. Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, now he got something to say. Yeah, the Longhorns taking on Alabama when Colt McCoy got hurt.
Colt McCoy's dad took him out of the game.
Okay, so Larry,
you blaming his daddy for this?
That's crazy. See, this is the Texas hurt that I am tangential.
Yeah, because that came from a real deep place.
But because Larry, you're on the mic, I'm going to do this. What is the thing that all Texas fans say about that particular game? If
Colt McCoy doesn't get hurt,
then
we beat Alabama.
Right here, that's the whole premise. Yeah. That's the whole premise. Play this one more time.
I've heard nothing different from any Texas fan.
I mean, because we were even with Garrett Gilbert. It was Garrett Gilbert.
Oh, that's right.
Wasn't that was freshman Garrett Gilbert?
Yes.
True freshman
Garrett Gilbert
coming right off of Lake Travis.
Had a lead. You beat Alabama. That was right. Alabama's first national championship.
Oh, we could have curbed the whole dynasty.
Yeah.
I got a question for all Texas fans. I hope Bobby Bell's listening to this.
He's not.
Which one evokes more emotion?
Oh, no.
Winning the 05 national championship or losing to Alabama in the 09 title, given what was happening in that game.
Winning 05.
Yeah, you beat 2 Heisman Trophy. I mean,
okay, that's what I would think.
It was
Alabama wasn't Alabama yet. It was like, that's what started it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that was kind of the beginning of.
Yeah.
But just imagine if y'all had taken out Alabama before that whole,
but also the fact
dynasty got kicked off.
The fact that Vince Young did it the way that he did it.
Yes, the repossession of the Heisman,
and the fact that Reggie Bush got the Heisman Trophy that year.
Yeah.
So it was like, oh, you know what? You got the Heisman? Okay, here.
Housed it.
Plus, it was an incredible football game.
That was full Hakeem David Robinson housing in that game.
Incredible.
Remember that one time when Hakeem told David Robinson,
hey,
give me that MVP.
Yeah, that's not really yours.
That's not yours.
We did limit it to 20 years, but on the Twitch chat, somebody mentioned, how about the 76 Super Bowl loss to the Steelers?
Oh.
If you wanted to take it back. There was one more that I had thought that was kind of old school, and I can't remember. Oh, yeah. Just for me personally, that year that the University of Houston lost to NC State in the Final Four or in the national championship game. I mean, I understand the Jim Valvano thing all happens, but I would much prefer University of Houston have a men's national basketball championship. But of course, nobody else cares about that.
Well, you took me back on that 05 thing. That was my freshman year of college because how old am I?
You 36.
Yeah.
It was just a great, those were the 2 best teams in college football the whole year. It was just a storybook season.
Vince Young came to Columbia, Missouri.
Oh, no.
When Missouri was still in the Big 12.
Oh, no.
When I tell you.
Oh, no.
Vince Young took over that game in the second half. One of the greatest plays I've ever seen. It was 3rd and 30. Momentum all on the side. Yes, momentum all on the side of my Mizzou Tigers.
Boo.
Vince Young, Larry, gets the ball, flushed out the pocket, scrambles, 31 yards on 3rd and 30. I said, what the hell?
And the best part about it is when he was running, it looked like he wasn't.
Did not look like it at all. Gazelle.
He was just tearing your heart out, looking like he was going for a casual stroll.
I said, they make these kinds of humans? Vince Young.
Someone else mentioned 93 national championship game. Chris Webber timeout. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Anyways.
Vince Young's so damn good. That was great. That was a bad trip down memory lane on something.
Sorry.